Yeah, I knew what I want to talk about today.
Mm.
I had a pretty good idea about going into what we could talk about, but after watching that Leah Michelle thing, I have to talk about Glee now. So I don't know. This is tough. It's do I go with what the plan was, or do I improvise? I mean, from that video, apparently, if I ever improvise, Leah Michelle will chastise me for doing so. But I don't know. I can talk about that first. See if we get into my topic a little later.
I think so. I think there's a lot to talk about.
Fucking. First off, the fact that Glee was a thing is already crazy enough to begin with.
How did you first find out about Glee?
Third grade art class.
Remember the Cunninghams?
Yeah.
Their oldest sister worked at Sweets of the Spoon with me,
Nice.
and she drove me home once, and she was playing the Glee show. I'm like, what the
song?
Fuck? The Dream On.
Dream On.
That's exactly what she played.
Dream
And she's like, "Is this amazing?" And I'm like, I didn't appreciate it at times. Actually, is a really good version.
I know where to go.
But she played it. She's like, "Is this amazing? How good is this? How amazing is this?" I'm like, "I guess it's cool."
Damn, is that Doogie Howser singing that?
Yeah, I figured it out. She started explaining to me the name of the premise of the show. She's like, "No, but actors come on all the time. They seem like that sounds ridiculous. I don't care."
That's a stretch. Actors come on. No, you guys had Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth come on. Okay, you guys had people from Broadway come on your show. That's not the same thing as having like they didn't have fucking Kiefer Sutherland and Charlie Sheen. Okay, that's plenty of big TV actors. They didn't have those guys come on there and start singing fucking songs. Okay, they had Neil Patrick Harris come on, who I guess was not How Much Your Mother, but like he has sing-alongs. He's a musical guy. Everyone knows he can sing and dance. Yeah,
and also How Much Your Mother's the same. Like that's the appropriate level of fame to then go on to Glee.
Yeah. It's not like they had fucking Manny Pacquiao come on there and break out. I'm like, this is crazy. But no, fucking that show was it really is. It's that feels like when they bottle, when they put things into like, oh, this is the era of that, the era of that. The Glee era was legitimately a fucking thing.
Yeah, it really was.
Everyone's obsessed with it. They were selling the DVDs on fucking A side, B side, the fucking.
They had this some in volumes because people couldn't fucking wait.
The demand was too much, and it's like you put on. It's the most creepy, cringiest show of all time, and everyone sucks in it, and everything about it's terrible.
Yeah, dude, but I fucking loved that
show. Fucking came on after the Super Bowl in season 2.
That's insane.
And they had that fucking remember that commercial they did? Like they did. I think the fucking commercial was a part of the episode they were filming with that. You might as well jump, and it was then doing the mattress commercial.
Oh God,
I think that commercial also aired during the Super Bowl.
I think you're right, actually.
I think it was both the episode. That's actually pretty insane. They were having like multiverses back then. They're having whereas within the reality of the show, but also the reality of the show is taking place in.
It's fucking crazy.
And again, they had actors. Yeah, they had John Stamos come on into an episode. Wow.
Yeah, the guy from Full House 10 years ago. That's cool.
So yeah, that person greatly lied to you by saying like, hey, they have Jeff Bridges and Joaquin Phoenix joining the cast. Which actually, translates into my original topic I want to talk about, which is Nepo babies. Okay. After hearing about that.
Vernacular. After
hearing about that for the first time yesterday from Amy Teagarden, a.k.a. Julie Taylor, right?
That's good.
I see 3 videos pop up on my suggestion feed. Apparently, all I had to do was just speak it out loud one time into existence, and YouTube was like, oh, that's what he wants to see. And it just immediately 3 videos. I've never heard the term before. Suddenly, it's a thing now,
that's
right?
Disturbing.
So I decided to watch the video. And it was some douchebag talking about like, this is not okay. Nepotism is not okay. And it's like, it literally is. I hate that so much, the argument. Because the real problem is how much of an assholes that they all are. When you think of Nepo Baby, which you've never thought of until just now, because apparently it's a thing everyone talks about, but I didn't know about it. Fucking, who do you think an example of a Nepo Baby is?
Army Hammer.
Yes, but come up with a better example, because he's rich and famous, but someone who actually comes from like a famous family. Like no one, I mean like someone who's like in the arts. What?
The Memets.
That's the example they gave. Perfect. That's way better. Yeah, because Armie Hammer, comes from a rich family. His rich family's not an acting family. I meant like you said, the Memets. Someone who comes from like an artistic family. Fucking, they were showing out all these quotes from all these people. It was like Gwyneth Paltrow, fucking Lena Dunham, Lily Rose Depp, fucking Maud Apatow, all these people. And the annoying part is that they're all saying like, having my name may have gotten my foot in the door, but it's made me had to work twice as hard to live up to my name. All right. Just fucking. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. After that very important fucking phone call, what was I saying? About these goddamn Nepo babies, which is such a stupid term. And when I closed my eyes now last night, I saw it burning like the fucking Dirk Diggler thing. Just a neon light. All I was Nepo baby written before me.
With the firework
exactly,
effect.
and it breaks out. It looks so good. It just explodes, okay? No, they're all complaining about how hard their lives are and everything else. And like the insanity of all of it is just like, just admit to the fact they showed a clip. Coincidentally, okay, I'm not trying to fucking create a narrative. I'm just speaking of the information that was presented to me. Okay, all the Nepo babies were all female. And the one male Nepo baby was Jeff Bridges, who was on, they did the Oscar table thing where they have all the actors who are nominated that year talking about. They were all talking about their story and how they got there, and he just laughed and was like, "I got here from nepotism." That was his understanding of it. He's like, I'm nepotism. I don't know. That's what he did. Everyone else was complaining. Like Lily Rose Depp was saying how much harder she has to work for being the Depp name. But then all people who are in her industry, because she was apparently a model first. I don't remember the guy's name. You know that really creepy fashion model who looks like a fucking
Terry something.
No, that's a photographer named Terry Richardson.
Oh, I swear to God, I thought you used the word photographer. I'm sorry. Fashion model, you said. I'm sorry. I just heard.
Right.
I heard creepy guy and just immediately thought of that guy.
There's some creepy fucking like fashion designer guy who is probably 90, but passes for 50 from all the surgery and wants to pretend he looks like he's 20 still. One of those guys, right?
Yeah.
Unseasonably tan, stark white hair that starts a little too high and like doesn't quite look human. Shady eyes, always wearing sunglasses, really weird clothing, has a little dog in their hand. Just one of those caricatures of humanity.
Yep.
Fucking, apparently one of those guys who runs one of those stupid companies is Lily Rose Depp's godfather. I think was what it was, or whatever. The point is, her mom, whatever model Johnny Depp fucked, was a model for this guy. And he's known Lily Rose Depp her entire life or whatever. And when she was like 13, she was brought into the brand, and he was like personally advising her. And she was saying how much harder her career is. And apparently there are a bunch of anonymous quotes from one of the other models saying like, really? The head of the company when you're 13 is your personal friend, and it's harder for you to get at work? And not to mention, too, everyone was complaining in the industry. These aren't my complaints. This was the industry complaints of fashion models. Were saying how they were pissed about how short she was because like they're all like 5'11" thin and she's 5'3" thin. So like it's not really the same thing. She's just an average. Like we're supermodels because we're
freaks of nature,
and she's the most average height possible for a woman.
Yeah.
So they're all losing their minds, and she's saying that's not true at all. And Gwyneth Paltrow was saying the same thing as her mom's Blythe Danner and her dad's some big producer or something like that.
Gwyneth Paltrow's got a few screws loose. Okay, I don't think anything she said should take. Yeah, I don't think anything she said should be taken.
But then like Lena Dunham was talking about how like she was basically complaining, saying that everyone tried diminishing and like shitting on.
How is she nepotism?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, sorry.
She was trying to say how like every single person was shitting all over girls and just saying it's a bunch of fucking privileged girls in the city, blah 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 blah. It's like we all had to work to be where we are. None of us had. There's literally a quote of her in a video saying, "None of us had anything handed to us on this show, right?" And it's like, oh really? Is that true? Fucking, as you point out in your earlier example, Zozia Mamet.
Yeah, and there's another one I can think of too. Unless you want to. That's part of the reveal.
What were you gonna say?
The other one on the show is nepotism. Her dad was.
Yeah, her dad, Allison Williams' father, is Brian Williams, one of the biggest anchors, right? Well, that's what they were getting at, and they were saying how. It's fucking bull. It's right here. Yeah. So
isn't the fourth girl also nepotism?
Yeah, they all are. Okay.
It's fucking insane.
So on fucking girls, the four girls, right? We have Zozia Mamet, who's her fucking grandfather. Her grandfather is Russell Crowe, a famous playwright. His daughter, Lindsay Krause, an actress who marries famous playwright David Mamet.
That's crazy.
And then they have actress daughters. That's been nepotism, right?
Yeah. On both sides. That's crazy.
Allison Williams, daughter of news anchor Brian Williams, right? Lena Dunham, fucking daughter of artists in New York City, which is a little different. They're not apparently like painters, or I don't know what the fuck, some type, I make sculptures.
Yeah.
And apparently the goddaughter of New York's is Jerry Saltz. Never looked into who that is. Still don't know who it is. I'm assuming it's a prominent person. If this person feels they need to mention it. And then the last one is daughter of Simon Kirk, the former drummer of rock band Bad Company and Free. Her mother is Lorraine Kirk, the owner of some vintage famous boutique in New York that did all the clothing for Sex and the City.
Wow.
So again, not really just scot-free walking in there. All four of these women are clearly people who have a foot in the door.
Yep.
And the funny part is I don't care. That's perfectly fine. If you have more opportunities afforded to you, that's great. You're lucky. You got a lucky draw of the hat, and you should take advantage of it as much as you can, and to try get where you want to be. If you want to be an actress, it's dumb. If you want to be an actress and you have and your father has 17 Oscars, you should probably say, "Hey, Dad, give me a part. Don't just be like, I'm gonna do it myself." Because why waste your time, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The problem, though, is that they're all fucking doing the whole denial part. We're like, no, it hasn't helped me at all. It's actually harder for me. My life's way more challenging than yours. I was going through all the examples. And like literally every person in Hollywood is somehow a baby or a daughter or a cousin of someone else. It's ridiculous. Because it's like Dakota Johnson, super popular, famous parents. the Kardashians. I saw a clip of Kylie Jenner was talking about how like nothing was handed to her, and it was actually harder for her to break into social media because she said anyone else can just go make an account and build their following. I already had my following built, and so I had to appease them at all times. And it's like, that makes no sense what you're saying. Apparently,
and what did you do to appease?
Apparently, when she joined Instagram in like 2014 or whatever, when she was 14 or something, she fucking had like 4 million subscribers or followers in a month. But apparently that wasn't a leg up. That was just like,
if anything, that made it harder. Do you know how many people shit to please at that point?
You know how much harder it was to just go into this, with brand deals already made for me, already having teams of editors and people who work beneath me, and making sure everything I wanted, and also having unlimited amounts of money. You know how much harder that was for me?
Dude, preaching to the choir.
And again, it's not an issue. You can be a product of nepotism and still be cool. Fucking Mel Brooks' son, Max, or whatever, seems pretty awesome. Like, I wrote fucking World War Z.
Yeah, it's a good book.
That guy, he probably got the deal because of his dad, but what he did that was unique. He was Max Brooks. He wasn't just fucking making, Robin Hood Men in Tights Part 2.
What's interesting is what you'd think would have happened in that scenario is all the new Mel Brooks movies would have been Max Brooks movies.
Exactly.
That's how it normally would have went down.
But no, none of that's the case. Fucking, but I don't understand. Again, maybe it's the fucking... it's a tricky subject matter to go. This is a hard line to straddle. Maybe it's something to do with the difference between men and women. I don't know, because like I said, the only example they showed of a man was Jeff Bridges, who very candidly said, yeah, I'm a product of nepotism, suck my dick. Lucky me, right? And laughed. And he wasn't complaining, but for some reason, all the fucking, these nepotism baby girls, for some reason, and I'm not saying, this isn't even offensive to women. And the world we live in, I'm trying so not to be offensive saying this, right?
Yep.
I don't think it's an issue. I don't know why they're all acting like it's an issue. They're saying, no, I've had to overcome this. Like, just like another one was, it was Lily Rose Depp, Harley Quinn Smith, and how they were best friends. And it was saying how her first acting role is in a movie with fucking Harley Quinn Smith as Harley Quinn Smith's friend in the movie that's done by her father, Kevin Smith, and it also has a guest appearance by Johnny Depp in it.
That had to have been really stressful and hard.
But my point is, just admit that. And also, isn't that supposed to be like a thing you aspire to? Like, wouldn't you think that you'd want to work with family? And like, it'd be cool to be like, hey, I've been like fucking, for some reason, I was in my mind for a split second, Al Pacino's actual father was Marlon Brando, and I was like, that's a good example. Like, that doesn't even make sense. The only example I can think of is fucking Will Smith and Jaden Smith in After Earth. That's a bad example because that didn't work out very well. But my point is, you should be able to want to work with people you know. Okay, Scott Conn and Jimmy Conn, right? It'd be cool if Scott Conn got to move with James Conn. Yeah. He wouldn't have been like, you know how to work twice as hard to get this part. You know how hard it was for me to get this part. Was my father directing, writing, and producing the movie? You know how hard it was for me to get cast in the second lead playing his son?
I think the argument trying to be made is because the nepotism's there, that everyone's like, oh, you only got for nepotism. But like, if you're good at it, no one's going to fucking question it.
Yeah, no one cares.
So stop fucking bitching
about it. No one cares. And also, again, stop thinking you just said hard.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges just admits it.
But you just said that. Does anybody remember that Lloyd Bridges was an actor?
No.
So, like,
and if they do, because they're also a fan of him, not because they hate Jeff Bridges.
Exactly.
Bo Bridges is also great. You know why Bo Bridges and Jeff Bridges and Lloyd Bridges all made it in movies?
Because they're all great.
Because they're all really good actors.
And no one said fuck those guys for knowing each other.
No one cared. Okay, they only care when you're shitty. When you're a shitty person. And maybe spend less time talking about how it actually wasn't handed to you, and just acknowledge that it was handed to you, and worked on spending more of that time on how to be a better actor. You'd be more well liked.
That'd be way harder though. It's so much easier just to
like, no one thinks, wow, Ben Stiller, what a piece of shit. His parents were comedy famous geniuses. Wow. Rot in hell, Ben. No one cares because Ben Stiller's funny and likable and good at his job.
Yeah. I mean, he had to work twice as hard, though.
He had to work twice as hard. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You had to work twice as hard. You had to work not even half as hard. Not even a quantitative number can explain how little you had to work for this.
Pauly Shore can have his career.
Exactly. Okay? But even Pauly Shore, at least he's a fucking... He doesn't hide the fact that he's again, my mom owned the Comedy Store. I'm very well aware of that, you know?
Yeah. And also, who gives a shit?
It's so fucking annoying. And he wasn't hiding it. And also, let him make shitty movies. It was fine. What's the issue? Why is that a problem, too? Why is that... There's something wrong in the world where we can't have people like Pauly Shore making shitty movies all the time still.
Yeah, honestly, he's having fun. Who gives a shit?
Dumb movies. You know how bad Biodome is? I wouldn't trade it in for anything, okay? That movie belongs in the fucking Congress preservation, whatever the fuck it is, for all the movies, the Library of Congress. That movie provides a lot, okay? Showing how you can take someone like Pauly Shore and put him in a Pauly Shore movie, and so that makes sense. But you can take Stephen Baldwin off of the success of The Usual Suspects and throw him in that movie and ruin his entire career, okay?
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with him?
It's so funny. Alec Baldwin, who's always a great judge of character and makes sound decisions, gets the script. He's like, hey, Alec, what do you think? I should take this? He's like, no, you shouldn't take this. Dude, what are you doing? This is, maybe Daniel can have this one or something. Maybe even Billy, okay? But you're supposed to be the second best one here. You're Stephen Baldwin. You're supposed to be Alec Baldwin Light.
I'm not going to try to quote it because I'm going to fuck it all up, but everything Tywin was just saying the episode we watched about how you have to, our family name means everything.
Yeah.
That's Alec Baldwin holding...
Fucking... Speaking of Alec Baldwin,
yeah.
nepotism, Haley Bieber, right? Formerly Haley Baldwin. Fucking, she was talking about how much harder it was for her to get into modeling and everything. And it's like, again, how is it harder if you get into modeling when you had no livelihood to worry about? You had a nest egg. Your father had connections.
Well, he spread that rumor about how she's a fat, nasty pig.
Yeah,
so that really, everyone was like, we can't hire her.
Yeah. Remember the South Park episode with the whole Alec Baldwin, just his thoughts going? That'd probably be better.
Have you ever watched any of Knots Landing?
What?
Have you watched any of Knots Landing?
No, like the first episode or something.
Okay, well, Alec Baldwin's in like 3 or 4 seasons or some shit. He's a complete lunatic in the show. It actually foreshadows everything about him. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, remember when Alec Baldwin was like a blockbuster draw? And
in like any genre he wanted.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. He could do comedy, he could do drama, he could do like a fucking
when he was young and hot, he did action, serious movies.
Even old and not hot. He's in Mission Impossible 6. He was awesome in Mission Impossible. And then he, shot someone. Turns out that wasn't the best career move.
Can we circle back to the Glee thing for a minute?
Sure.
Because I wanted to mention this before. I am absolutely convinced that she can't read.
Oh, Leah Michele? Yeah, I went into thinking that sounded a little foolish and silly, and of course she can read. But, but then again, she probably can read, right? Like,
she probably can, but it's really fun to assume she can't.
She can't read if she doesn't know how to write. The writing one's even more confusing, though. Because that one, I think they're both confusing. Because, like, how did table reads go? Did she just memorize her lines?
Ooh, that's actually that. Oh, you know what? You're an asshole.
When they got songs to sing.
I was gonna start bringing up all the things they said and how maybe they just had fun with it, but you just had the table read bit, and like, yeah, that actually is a really good counter argument.
And like, what about when she was like?
Well, she just memorized it because everyone else just read it to her 1,000 times.
And also, in the first episode, we see her write her name on that fucking pamphlet with the little flower over it and the heart. I'm pretty positive.
Maybe it's trick photography.
It could have been something else in there.
It's Holly weird, dude. There's magical things happening all the time.
That's a good point. Yeah, Glee, I don't know. Nepo babies and Glee are both just kind of shitty things, I guess. But again, Nepo babies are the problem. It's the fucking people who are denying their Nepo baby status,
Nepo baby, that sounds like a South PC baby.
Yeah, because really, though, it's what Jeff Bridges just said, yeah, I'm proud of nepotism. Everyone laughed. They're like, yeah, you are. Look at you. No one thought anything of it. Imagine he was like, I worked twice as hard to be here.
I feel like I saw one, like, it was probably some dumb fucking behind the reels nonsense where it's all bullshit anyways. It was about Ben Stiller and his career.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain there's a point where he just flat out acknowledges, how he learned so much from his parents and it helped him get his leg.
Yeah, John Cusack probably got a couple steps because of the fact that his parents ran that Chicago theater, right?
Yeah, that might have given some weight to him.
Some leg up. But again, that's not what gave him his career. You know, gave him his career being likable in a lot of fucking good movies for 20 years.
I don't know. I think it's probably the nepotism.
Paris Hilton has a rich father. Everyone thinks she's a piece of shit whore. Okay, she's not getting an Oscar nomination. Not as John Cusack, but I think he has a Golden Globe nomination. I feel like for like High Fidelity or something. Maybe Cusack's probably got a Golden Globe, right?
Yeah, probably for High Fidelity.
I think,
something like you said.
And Cusack has an Oscar nomination for Working Girl.
Isn't one of the Cusacks in Glee?
Yeah, Anne.
That's crazy.
Joan's a 2-time Oscar nominee, and John is a fucking BAFTA nominee for Best Screenplay. Right. So my argument fell apart a little bit. We'll pivot to Joan Cusack's career. Joan Cusack doesn't have 2 Oscar nominations because her parents ran a fucking Chicago theater.
Or because her brother's drowned.
No, she has 2 Oscar nominations because she was good in 2 movies that she built off of a career, probably getting her first audition or something because of her parents having friends. And again, I mean, Lily Rose Depp brought this up in the most, incoherent fucking non-linear way possible, where she was saying, like, if you're a doctor and your son becomes a doctor, no one says he's a doctor because of the connections he made.
Yes, they do.
It's like, that's not, again, you can get residency because that's a stupid example you're giving, but like, no one would complain about it is the difference. But also, no doctor would say, I'm here, they'd say, thankfully, my father, I lived a life where I could go to school and go to, they would acknowledge where he came from.
Yeah.
It's fucking insanity. And again, it's like,
it's great people make analogies that are irrelevant
to everything they're getting at.
Don't actually prove your point. If anything, they prove the opposite of the point you're trying to make.
It's like, I have to work twice as hard to be cast in Euphoria.
I don't think an analogy was.
It's like, how? And also, the really interesting part, too, is her saying, she's like saying this with like actual confidence that she has to work twice as hard. It's like, you're now headlining an HBO show.
And you know how long it takes people to get to that point?
You were in Tusk and Yoga Hosers.
Uh-huh.
And now you're leading an HBO show with you know how to work for it to be in that show? The Weeknd. Okay?
Yeah.
Because he had to have a music career for like 8 years out of nowhere. And then, you know, build off of that and build a following and play the Super Bowl and become a celebrity and then get cast in a show to show his acting ability.
Yeah. He had to play himself in Uncut Gems. Without that, he never would have gotten that part.
Honestly, that's actually probably fucking true. Come to think of it, realistically, that's probably the only reason why they gave him. That's his first thing. At least I can act.
Does David Spade...
He can look like he's turned on by Julia Fox being sexy. This guy, give him an Oscar.
Does David Spade ever complain about how his dad, Adam Sandler, gets him all those movies?
That's true. He just takes it on the chins. Like,
Does
hey,
Kevin James ever complain about how
Nope.
daddy got him the role? No, they don't.
just
Those
give it
guys
to
don't
all of them, like,
complain. Does Rob Schneider ever say, I hate my dad, he gives me all these movies?
No.
No one. No, they don't. Why, no, just trying to point out the opposite. Just admit it, man.
I mean, but the only difference there is that they're not nepotism babies. They're friends of people. So we kind of fall off track there by.
I thought what I was doing was really funny, referring to him as their dad the whole time. I thought that was funny, but I thought it would be funny.
Nice.
You're not gonna. Fuck you, Alex.
No, I don't know. Fucking, it's just really fucking annoying. Is what it comes down to. The Nepo babies thing was really. I watched the video. It was 8 minutes long. I think it was like more like 7 minutes 50 seconds in 2 times speed. So it was really 3 minutes of my life, and 24 hours that I'm still talking about, thinking about the Nepo babies and how it's just insane. It really just the Lily Rose Depp and honestly, the Maud Apatow one didn't bother me so much because it was only a blurb, and she was kind of just. It seemed more like her quote was saying like she has to work harder in the sense like to get out of their shadow. Is how I took it. Also, I'm just like it's like literally Leslie Mann 2.0. So somehow taking gorgeous Leslie Mann and hideous Judd Apatow resulted in a better looking person. You know, it's like when they say negative and a positive.
Yes.
The rules of math are truly universal.
Were the Dishnells on that list?
No, they weren't. Because maybe they're not assholes who say that they had to work harder for. Maybe they're acknowledging the fact that they got a leg up in the door. And also, that's not a bad thing. That's something you should. Doesn't everyone want a lucky break?
Yeah.
Isn't any bit of success at all just getting a break?
Would you point out a while ago about how, like, I think you said it's with actors, how they can't acknowledge the fact when they make money, they don't do it for the money at all?
Yeah, every fucking actor, no one, for some reason, when you're working any job, okay, if you work at CVS or you work at fucking Wallbaum's or King Cullen or anywhere else, and they say, what are you working there for? And if your answer is like, oh, I love packing grocery, I love stocking shelves, okay, you're either A, just the lowest of the low, or you're a fucking liar. The answer is to make fucking money.
Yeah.
Why'd you become a doctor? To help people, but you know, when I realized that I could help people by being a school guidance counselor and make $40,000 a year, or be an anesthesiologist and make $480,000 a year, I decided I'm much more interested in anesthesiology than I am in fucking helping kids who are, you know, upset in classes. But for some reason we can't say that. And then actors. Why did you become an actor? Because I love to express myself. Oh, it wasn't the $20 million quota with the back-end compensation. It wasn't the fact that, you know, Robert Downey Jr. gets $58 million to be in a movie. That wasn't interesting to you at all.
Doesn't even come into the equation.
How about that? He lives in a lighthouse. He just has a lighthouse. Do you have a lighthouse? No, I don't. But I became an actor for the art of it, not because of the money aspect whatsoever. It's the only football players. Fucking, why'd you become a football player? I just love the game. Would you love the game so much if it wasn't $255 million over 5 years?
Doesn't every football player say if they play baseball, they play baseball?
Yeah, everyone. Exactly. If no football player wants to play football, it's the only sport they can play. Okay, they want to play basketball. They want to play baseball. They want to get paid more money. There's more money in those sports. Less physical contact in those sports. Better, longer longevity of those careers in those sports. Not such injury in those sports. They're playing football because it's the way to make money. That's what they're best at. It's fucking, and again, football's sick. I love football. Baseball's annoying to watch, but fuck, dude. Just be fucking honest. For some reason, when you become a rich star, you're supposed to lie and change. I'm here for my humanitarian reasons. Just fucking say I like money.
I hate money. It has nothing to do with, it's even hard because my parents are famous.
It's like, that's weird it's weird that you're not in this for the money, but all you do in your free time from all the tabloids is just spend your money in lavish ways and do crazy things and think who the fuck you are. And also, maybe they just admitted it. If they just got that off their chest, they wouldn't all turn to shitty fucking people belittling those around them. And they would just be like, honestly, like, yeah, I like having some financial security. What, sue me. It's really cool knowing that I have generational wealth I've created. Oh, wow, but I can't say that. Instead, it's about the arts. I do it for the arts. It's fucking insanity. And these Nepo babies, I had to work twice as hard. You had to work So much less than anyone else has. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Good for you. You're lucky. That's what it comes down to. Some people are lucky, some people aren't lucky. It's simple. And just admit that. And then you become instantly likable. Jeff Bridges did I wish I could do it. There's nothing more in this life right now I wish I could do than just perfectly mimic Jeff Bridges' comfortable, that just soft laugh he has.
Yeah, that's a good laugh.
Okay? So he says, they asked him, the whatever douchebag was hosting the round table where it's like, Shia LaBeouf and fucking Denzel Washington and Jeff Bridges and whoever else is there, right? And they get to him. He's like, so how'd you find your way into the, what adversity did you overcome to become an actor? And he just, that laugh, he's like, I'm nepotism. And everyone started laughing like a guttural, ha ha ha, Jeff's so funny and cool.
Jeff is so funny and
Thank
cool.
God Jeff didn't say, my father was in the business, so I may have my foot in the door, but I had to work twice as hard as everyone else. And also, just to say, just specifically calling out the goop herself, Gwyneth Paltrow, you working twice as hard. Wow. You don't have a lot to show for you working twice as hard is my point, for all this work you put in, because you're fucking, is there anything like Gwyneth Paltrow's done that she's the standout in? What do you think of Gwyneth Paltrow? What do you think of?
Shallow Hal.
Who's that movie about?
Jack Black.
Okay, next one. Iron Man?
Yeah.
Wow, Pepper Potts is my favorite MCU character. Hard 8. I think of Philip Baker Hall and fucking John C. Reilly. I don't think of Gwyneth Paltrow.
So we already named all the
Seven.
Gwyneth Paltrow movies. Oh,
7.
Okay, I forgot she was in that.
Who do you think of?
Not her, because
I think
she was in
of
that.
Kevin Monster Spacey before I think of Gwyneth Paltrow being in that movie.
I think of the joke of that's Gwyneth Paltrow's head in the box, isn't it? Thing, but I always forget it's actually Gwyneth Paltrow.
Exactly.
Which
Okay.
makes no sense.
Fucking, I think of Blythe Danner before I think of Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay, because you know what Blythe Danner did? Was in a funny movie contributing to it.
Yep.
She's great in Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers, and she's probably kind of funny in Little Fockers. That movie sucks.
I think I saw her. I think she's in some. It's not Georgia Rule, but it's a movie like Georgia Rule. She's playing some. Oh, yeah. I'm an idiot. She's Blake Lively's grandma and Sister of the Traveling Pants too. And I'm like, that's this great dramatic role, and it's fucking Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants too.
Never in a million years could I have even. I still
I'm
can't.
a
You said it. I
loser.
can't even picture the scene.
I'm such a loser. I was like, this is she said that really great dramatic part, and it's like it's fucking Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I love the movie, but it's not what I would call this great role. Well, I'm a loser. I'm
glad you can bask in that. It's just really annoying, the whole nepotism baby thing, because again, I've said it 10,000 times right in the last 20 minutes. There's no issue with it. Stop pretending that you're making the issue into something else. Because the problem,
all of us who aren't have an issue with the fact that we're not.
Exactly. Fucking, it's not an issue, and then the reason why it's so annoying is that they make it into an issue and then try to be better than the issue. And again, it's like, at least, fucking Emilio Estevez can be like, well, I'm using the name Estevez, so I'm like doing it my own way. Or Nick Cage drops Coppola if his first movie decides to do Cage. Okay, those are all things you can do. Lily Rose Depp.
But however, though, you can guarantee. I get your point. I'm cutting you off for 1 second. I'm
Drop
sorry.
the last name then if it's such an issue to you.
If you're that concerned about it, don't go. Just go by Lily Rose. Fucking.
It's a porn star name, but
Is it really?
It sounds
yeah,
like
okay,
it would
you're
be.
right. Yeah. It is. Okay, so go by Lily Rose. Your mom's last name.
Ped.
Fucking.
Get it?
It's
Deep
I was gonna say that. Who did you just say before? The one person you said.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
No.
Lily Rose Depp.
There was a person you said between them.
Was there?
Yeah, Estevez, you fucking jerk off. He still got his foot in the door, most likely because his dad was Charlie Sheen. It's not like people didn't know his dad was Charlie Sheen. It's not like people didn't know his brother was Charlie Sheen.
His dad and his brother is Charlie Sheen.
Martin Sheen. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Charlie Sheen 6 times.
That's crazy, dude.
My point is, we all know if they're family. He probably got his leg in the door, but then he's like, I'm going to use my own name for my own merit. But he still got the
why
leg
do you think
in.
Frank Sinatra Jr. was famous?
Because he wrote a lot of good books.
Is that why? Or do you think it's because he was Frank Sinatra's son?
It might have been that.
It's fucking so asinine. And again, what is the problem? Why do people like it's a legacy. That's a cool thing. Everyone likes fucking. It's cool that JFK and it's cool there's a Kennedy family in the politics, right? This is this American family.
Yeah.
And now RFK is running again, right? That's cool. Oh, the Kennedys are still in all. It's something that's just. He's not walking around saying like, you know how hard it is for me to be the son of Bobby Kennedy. You know how hard it was to be a Kennedy in politics.
No, he's wearing it as a badge of honor.
Yeah. So why the fuck can't these people do that? Allison Williams just be like, yeah, man, my fucking dad's that guy on ABC News.
There must always be a Kennedy in politics.
How long did you think? When exactly did that come into your mind? You thought that's what I have to say.
When you first said how there's another Kennedy coming to politics, I immediately thought of that.
So for like the last 30 seconds, you're just holding on to that. Okay.
I held on to that gem, and I think it would have went over a little more smoothly if you pretended you liked it.
Yeah, well, this. You're right. I'll make things. I'll start saying things like, everything you say is funny. You're always so good. I'm not a product of nepotism.
I have to work twice as hard being your
Right.
brother on this show. I know you being the brother of the host got my leg in the door so I
Right.
could be the co-host.
Sure.
I have to work twice as hard to be here, okay? You can act like you appreciate it once in a while. Okay, because I'm working my ass off to be here. Do you have any idea what it's like to go into a place and be like, wait, you're Alex, you're Robbie's brother? I fucked up.
You're so stupid. How would anyone pretend to play along this bit when you can't even get the names right? Okay,
shut up.
I can at least excuse Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen, and Martin because you don't know them on a personal fucking basis. But not only do you know me on a personal basis, you said your own fucking name.
I go into a place and everyone's like, wait, you're Alex's brother? Dude, the
And you
drinks
corrected yourself
are
and said Robbie.
What?
And then you corrected yourself and said Robbie. You
Because
started
you
off by
know how
saying
weird it is saying I'm Alex's brother? I've never referred to myself that way before.
You refer to yourself as Robbie's brother?
No, because everyone goes, aren't you Alex's brother? And I go, yeah, I don't usually say that. It was very weird saying that.
Wow, man.
I'm not saying it's a good argument to have, but it was weird saying something I don't usually say. It's usually heard to me. I usually hear it. God, I'm such a fucking... I'm an illiterate loser. I can't read.
Should go
Leah
out
Michelle
sometime.
can't read.
Okay, you and Leah Michelle.
Fuck.
I know she's like married or whatever, but I think you could get your way in there on this whole because she must feel pretty fucking insecure when she goes out to a restaurant and her husband just so concedingly is like, do I want the steak? Do I want the hamburger? Do I want a garden salad? And she's like, you son of a bitch. And she's just she's like, why is it the nice restaurants have less photos of the food on them in the menus? It's not fair. So you guys could go bond over that pretty well, I think. Honestly,
that's my biggest complaint when I go to restaurants. I hate reading the menu. You want to know why?
You
I can't read it.
I believe that. That's the one of those good when we get that button. You know what? No, that was a reference to a Vine. What am I, a fucking jerk off? Fucking that's
only room
stupid.
for one loser around here, Alex.
And
that place is taken.
We have some sort of a balance here. Okay, I can't go on the deep end like you do so fucking frequently.
It's so hard to swim over here.
Lamest response I've ever heard. To
you
anything
laughed.
In
So it was a good response.
I was laughing at you, not with you. Okay.
Hey, any laugh's a good laugh.
It's not bad. Yeah. I don't know. Glee sucks. Nepo babies are perfectly fine and acceptable, and it's not a problem. You should not feel ashamed for who your family is and where you come from. You should be, this is so lucky. You should just constantly remind yourself how lucky you are and have some humility and not create some big bad fucking wolf where you're like, I had to overcome this. They're out to get me. The world is not fair at all. Do you know how hard it is to be who I am? Probably a lot easier than it is to be a lot of other people who don't have the same situation you've been afforded. That's the thing I really hate too. Everything's gone to the fucking... Now, if you have any sort of privilege, you should be ashamed of it. It's like, but why does Lily Rose have a career? Because her father worked to have a career to give her a better life. And that's a shameful thing?
Apparently.
Wow. Ed Burns and Chrissy Turlington, right? Both famous. If their daughter becomes a model, should she be like, you know how hard it was to be a model when my mother was the biggest model in the world? Yeah, you could argue again to get out of her shadow maybe, but probably be pretty easy with her friend. I imagine she has a few friends to hook you up with. A photographer, a person who runs a magazine, an agent, something. And even if you have none of that, at the Armie Hammer example, you know what Armie Hammer had, if not connections to Hollywood directly? $1 billion.
That probably helped some of his
Probably
ventures.
helped a lot because you know what? Even if it didn't help him directly in the sense where it got him connections, maybe he had some sort of a weird journey where the only people he came across with for movies, they were all very moral people. Like, you know what? No, fuck you, you Nepo baby. I'm not putting you in this movie. Okay, I'm morally righteous instead. You know how the money helped him instead? Because he had $1 billion. So he said, you know what? I didn't get this movie. I'll get the next one. He didn't have to be like, oh, how am I going to pay for my, my food or my electricity or my water or anything? He was just like, yeah, no, it's fine. I have $1 billion.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'll go live on that fucking island my family owns. I'll just chill out there, find my next character. Because really, he's in Desperate Housewives, Arrested Development, and then Social Network, and then a bunch of slew of box office failures, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have some 40-year journey, okay? It's not the Steve Carell thing. Steve Carell worked for it. Was a guy he was like in the... Circuit City or whatever, where people from SNL were all poached from.
Yeah, I think it was Circuit City.
He was over there.
No,
he was in this
City.
troupe. He was in that comedy troupe. He was in the Dana Carvey show. He goes to this. He almost missed out on The Office because he was doing a fucking Tom Papa show.
God, that would have been so bad.
Goes into The Office, gets a couple movies, builds a career. now has a career. He's built for it, right? So Steve Carell's son, like, you know how fucking hard it is to be Steve Carell's son? You know how fucking, you know how rough I have it? What about the actors who come from, like, you know, broken families? You know how easy he had it? The adversity he had. You know how simple that was for him? I had everything handed to me. You know how tough that was?
Yeah, I don't get the argument at all.
And again, the proof was there. When Jeff Bridges was just canon and said, yeah, nepotism, everyone liked him for it. So why can't these people just be like, hey, Lily, how'd you get this part? You saw the name, Depp, right? That's how I got it. And again, if you're good, everyone's going to keep liking you.
Yeah, she doesn't act like she's a serious actress and acknowledge how hard she works at being a serious actress, and no one else can take her seriously as an actress.
Oh, and the other part of the nepotism problem was apparently all the British actors you can think of all come from like the same 3 colleges of these rich schools in London. Yeah. And apparently there was something, which again, I saw James McAvoy talking about it. He's one of them. Apparently he's one of the fucking rich guys. Apparently all the popular actors in the last like 20 years from London all come from like 3 universities, and they're all from like royal families or whatever, or just very wealthy families. So Benedict Cumberbatch, Eddie Redmayne, Emilia Clarke, James McAvoy. I had like 40 more in my head before I started listing them out. No, maybe Henry Cavill, but I don't think it was him either. I'll go back to that video. What, I gotta fucking be professional on this thing and take my time and have my sources cited? No, I'll fucking take my sweet ass fucking time.
You have that luxury, Alex. You don't have to work that hard.
Exactly. You're right. I completely forgot about that. I'm so inconsiderate. Yeah, right here, okay? Tom Hardy, Tom Hiddleston.
Wait, all of them, really?
They're all come from the same schools, yeah. So
that's just kind of how things work, though.
I know. I mean, that's another thing, too. Like, you have friends, you make friends. And also, that's another thing I hate, too, is like, why wouldn't I want to cast my friend in something?
I don't know.
Why would I, especially if I'm like, you know, let's say a group of 10 guys, they're all, you know, going out for fucking parts and they're always fucking a grind. They're getting turned down. One becomes the star. Should he say, fuck you guys? And that's the moral thing? Or is the moral thing for the nepotism to strike through and say, hey, that's my friend. I want to work with them. The Adam Sandler approach when you were getting it earlier. I guess you were foreshadowing this event, so it wasn't stupid. Fucking Adam Sandler is like, hey, my career took off. My friend Dave's didn't really take off unless you think Joe Dirt was, you know, 1 vote shy of winning an Oscar. So that didn't take off. Rob Schneider is holding on by a fucking thread. All right. And I guess since Chris Farley's gone, Kevin James will do. Right? That makes sense. He should help his buddies out. Should he have been like, no, I'm going to make Grown Ups. It's 2009. All right, let's get Zac Efron, Chris Hemsworth, and Jason Bateman. That's the cast, because they're popular, I guess. No, he should have had his friends come work with him. You know what movie's probably so fun to make? Even though I don't think it's funny at all. A lot of people loved it, right?
Yeah.
The people who loved it, you know why they loved it? Because they loved the dynamic in those 4 actors. Do you know those 4 actors had a dynamic?
Because they're best buds.
Because they're best buds.
They're just best buds doing best bud things.
Should Will Smith have been like, actually, I have to fill a quota here, so I can't cast my 4 pals here?
Yep.
No. But no, Eddie Redmayne, James McAvoy, fucking Tom Hardy. Come on, talk faster, guys. The fucking one from Fleabag, Benedict Cumberbatch, Emilia Clarke, like I already said, Rosamund Pike, Dominic West.
No, it's literally
that comedian from that TV show, Damian Lewis, Lily Collins. Again, that's not really her dad's like her dad.
That's also nepotism.
What?
It's also nepotism.
Yeah, but I don't care if she went to a famous school. That's not affecting her ability getting into it.
Also, why did she go to a British school?
I don't know. Isn't he British?
I thought they were American.
I don't know. Who gives a shit? It's the fucking Phil Collins, okay? Cry me a fucking river. But again, it's like they all went to the same college together, sure. But James McAvoy brought up a good point. Even though the video was saying he was a monster for saying it, his response was saying like, I also wish you could just break out his axe, and that'd be pretty cool to do break out.
That'd be sick, yeah.
But he was essentially saying how...
Well, you can. You got the line.
He was essentially saying how even if they're all coming from the same schools, that isn't a reflection of the schools being the problem. It's the reflection of that we need to take art more seriously in public schools to afford them the same opportunities.
Yeah, that's a really good argument.
That makes way more sense than this whole other thing that everyone was saying a minute ago about how it's all about these schools being evil.
That's how it is with every industry. I know. It's not only into acting.
I know. It's literally how it works.
And again, all the top doctors all went to the same fucking schools.
I know. Like, this is bullshit. You know, all the doctors go to fucking Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Stanford. What is this shit? Why is there no more JUCO doctors? Well, for a multitude of reasons. And again, it's like, yeah, fucking, they're saying this is bullshit that James McAvoy and Benedict Cumberbatch come from fucking Edmonton or Saint whatever, all these schools, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, they went to a school They had money. Against the Arm Hammer thing. They had money to pursue artistic venture. They went to a school that had good classes and good teachers there.
Good connections.
And they learned theatrically how to do these things. And they developed their skill, and it took off in the real world. And another bullshit thing about it, too, is even if everyone from the same fucking college gets to have a good career because of it, right? James McAvoy was around for like 15 years before anyone knew who James McAvoy was.
Yeah.
He's doing Shameless. No one gave a fuck about him on Shameless. No one cared he was in Pride and Prejudice, whatever that fucking movie is with Keira Knightley. No one cared. They didn't care he was an X-Men. They was like, who the hell is this guy? So he was acting for 5 years before him. What's the problem, right? It's fucking sheer stupidity that, one, you're supposed to be born from a famous family and then pretend like that's not a leg up and then denounce it and say how hard it is. And also, don't you think the main thing you should do as a fucking actor, an actress, a writer, a director, a producer, a musician, a fucking singer-songwriter, a dancer, an athlete, a talk show host, a radio personality, an internet personality, an influencer, any goddamn thing where people are your bread and butter? Well, shouldn't you be, I don't know, relatable?
That's such a really interesting insight.
Shouldn't you fucking be like, yeah, guys, thankfully, I'm who I am and my father's who my father is. That's pretty cool. Sucks you guys don't have that luxury. But hopefully if you try hard, you'll also make it. Everyone be like, well, that's, at least they're honest, thanks. Instead of the fucking, you know how hard I had to work? You know how difficult it is to be the daughter of giant. You know how hard my dad's Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay, you know how tough that was on me. Having when all my friends at school, their parents were losing their jobs and their houses in 2008, and I was going to Bora Bora and go skiing Gestad. You know how easy that was. You know how easy that was for you guys to have all that adversity, and me, how hard it was being on cloud 9 all the time.
Do you know how it was for me where my friends, like, my dad's a fireman, my dad's a cop. You know what my dad is? My dad's Johnny Depp.
You know how hard
I can't
that
tell
is?
anyone about that.
That's tough, dude. And also, that's bullshit. Now you're marginalizing Charlie from Santa Claus because he can't tell anyone. Okay, Lily Rose Depp can tell everyone, and she's acting like it's a bad thing. All right, be Charlie for a day. Be Charlie for a goddamn day. Walk a mile in his fucking shoes.